Waffle people?
You mustn't ever eat pancakes. No one in our family can eat them. It's a family secret.
The family secret?
Just a family secret. Not being able to eat pancakes is one of the darker and more frightening secrets.
Wow, makes the whole Prince of Tide secret seem tame.
Miss Bellmans have a terrible weakness for pancakes. One bite and you won't be able to stop.
I can quit anytime I want.
It's not effective because he's not family, but we're deadly serious about you, Sabrina.
Oh no, are we about to have the parent-child pancake talk?
We should have told you this a long time ago. One bite of pancakes and you'll be hooked for life.
Welcome to Gimmicks, a podcast about the high-concept, experimental, structure-breaking gimmick episodes of TV, from musicals to bottle episodes to very special episodes about drug addiction, except it's pancakes. I'm Derek B. Gale.
And I'm David Arnold. The answer to the riddle is cakes on the griddle, Derek. That's what we're here to talk about.
And we are, of course, talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch with the episode Pancake Madness.
Ooh. We made spooky noises. There's nothing spooky going on here.
Yeah, I don't know why it's spooky. I guess because it's like trying to, like, how do you translate, like, oh no, drugs, they're so scary. And then it's not scary, so it just became spooky, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, if you're not familiar with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, it was an American sitcom created by Nell Scoville based on the Archie comic series of the same name, premiered on September 27th, 1996 on ABC to over 17 million viewers in its TGIF lineup. It was definitely a very popular one.
Yeah.
And I think it really only left TGIF because TGIF literally ended.
Yes.
When it ended, right? Yeah. So like I'm sure it would have continued on ABC if it was able to, but TGIF ended, so then it moved over to WB.
Like all things must do. All things must move to WB.
Things must do. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. If the series, of course, follows, it is about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It followed a film that premiered in April 1996 that weirdly aired on Showtime. I remember this movie. It's so bizarre. It did feature Melissa Joan Hart as Sabrina Sawyer instead of Spellman. I think it was trying to be more like a grounded, sort of down-to-earth version of the story. Tells the story of Sabrina turning 16 and discovering that she's a witch. Ryan Reynolds is in it. It's a weird movie. Most of the rest of the cast is completely, I think she's the only one. Does anyone else even carry over?
Her best friend.
That's right.
Is her best friend. And I should have looked up this actor's name because
but it's Jenny was the character's name, right?
And Jenny,
that's right.
Jenny is Jenny. Sabrina changes a lot from the film to the series, but Jenny is pitch perfect, the same Jenny you've always known and loved.
Yeah. So that's, it's, I remember watching that. I watched that after I had been watching the show because that would sometimes air, I guess, on ABC Family or whatever at certain points. And it's such a bizarre watch because it's so unlike the rest of the show, which the tonal, I mean, not just in cast wise, but tonally too, because this show is so weird and surreal and irreverent in a way that is just so fun and unique.
I will say I watched the film in anticipation of our conversation. And it was definitely made for an audience that isn't me. Not in like I'm rewatching Empire Records and I'm now the man. And so I don't get this, but I will say the film used all of its budget on excellent location. Like the mansion that they're in is fantastic. The school looks great, but then zany sitcom hijinks ensue. So it feels really, really, really weird.
Yeah, I remember it being a bizarre movie to watch, just kind of a little boring too. Like I don't remember what the plot of it really was, honestly.
I did watch it at 1.5 speed, so
yeah, I think that says a lot. Which is so funny because then you go to Sabrina the show, and it is so fast paced. It's like this show feels more akin to like Simpsons DNA than it does to anything else on TGIF, including like stuff that was made by Simpsons creators on TGIF, like it is like mile a minute, jokes a minute type of show. And again, like so surreal and weird, and embraces the high concept of it all. But David, I mean, what's your experience with Sabrina?
Yeah, I think big fans of the show will know that I'm a huge Clarissa Explains It All fan. So
Sure.
the marketing did its job to tell me at 12 years of age, 13 years of age, that Melissa Joan Hart was moving to ABC and would be in a new sitcom and that I should go watch that. And I bought that package for every penny it was worth. And I was a day one viewer of this sitcom, and that lasted through my entire teenage life. I followed Sabrina to college, but then I was in college, and so I was no longer interested in being part of her world.
Yeah, oh, that's fair. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of dropped off with the WB move, unfortunately. Though I stick up for those seasons. I think those seasons are really good, even if a little bit different.
Solid episodes, terrible intro.
Oh no! I love the intro. Are you kidding me?
Derek!
I get that song stuck in my head all the time. That song's a banger. And speaking of banger, my favorite thing about that intro is before they change it for the final season, it ends with Sabrina magically landing on her bed with Salem next to her. But if you watch it, she bumps her head on the headboard as she falls back, and they keep it in.
Oh no!
It's so good because it's also that feels very Sabrina. And then the cat who's playing Salem just kind of looks at her like, what the fuck just happened?
Nice.
And they keep it in. It's so good. You have to go back and watch it. I love that. That's my favorite part about that whole intro.
Well, does your history with Sabrina the Teenage Witch precede that, or did you start with...
Sorry,
Okay.
just kind of jumped ahead to the WB stuff.
Listen, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I was already a TGIF watcher anyway. This premieres in 97, so it had been going on for TGIF started in I think 87 or maybe earlier than that actually, right?
Yeah, it was definitely around by the time I was watching TV, which would have been
at
90s.
least the mid 80s, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, TGIF had been such a long mainstay. This is kind of towards the end of its life, I guess, that Sabrina comes out. But for me, I feel like it was kind of it. I remember watching it and it felt different from the rest of the TGIF fare. And I would argue maybe is one of the few that really holds up, I think, really well to this day. It's obviously of its time. It's still a very 1990, late 90s, early 2000s show, but it still at the same time doesn't feel dated humor wise in the way that a lot of other TGIF shows do. And I think that really appealed to me. And I think also just the high concept nature of it appealed to me. And I think particularly the way that it embraced high concept, right? Because there have been plenty of shows that existed with magic in them. There's, there is Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie and stuff of that ilk. But I think that those shows are always we use our magical element to create a sitcom plot, but then the sitcom plot from that point forward is generally very normal with maybe some sprinkling of weirdness. And Sabrina is sort of if you've got magic, it's just going to be the most surreal, weirdest shit you've ever seen, and very irreverent, and that still to me I think sticks out among the rest of the TGIF fare. I wanted to stick with it through the WB years, but I didn't have WB by the time it moved over to that, so I couldn't watch it. But once it started hitting reruns on cable, I caught up with all of them and really enjoyed the college years. Even having heard, people not liking that Harvey wasn't in it as much and that she dyed her hair red and stuff like that. Okay. But I was like, nah, it's still good. It's a more, it was genuinely a slightly more grown up version of the show. In that it was a little bit more serious about Sabrina's love life and everything and sort of ongoing storylines. But I actually think that transition worked for the show and it kind of needed to happen. And it never lost the weird surrealist element that made me really love the show, in its high school years. So. Yeah.
I watched a different episode just in case we wanted to cover a different thing for gimmicks. I watched a sort of an Agatha Christie rip from the college years. And it's funny how this version of Sabrina that we're in here in season 3 is so much more familiar to me, putting on an old pair of shoes, because I watched that episode and I was like, who are these people? I vaguely remember them. What's going on? Is Harvey on again? What's happening? It's here. I've watched it, but I don't remember it like I remember these episodes from this era.
I think that's fair. And I do think the show is just sort of categorically better in this era, but I think because it was a stronger, more consistent cast and wasn't really dealing with any baggage. By the time you get to the college years, it is dealing with the baggage of cast changes and a network change and executives trying to get them to adult up the show a little bit. And I don't think you can avoid that you can escape that on screen. And I think it makes it an interesting watch and interesting to read about. And I do think that those episodes are as good as they could be, but there is a no pun intended, like magic to this era of the show when it is sort of just distilled to the sort of prime version of this format, right? You know?
Yeah. Now, Derek, did you mess around with other Sabrina properties, either the animated series that was happening around this time or the Netflix Chilling Adventures of Sabrina?
I guess I've seen every TV adaptation of Sabrina now that I think about it, because I've seen some old, Archie cartoons that had Sabrina in them. And yeah, I did watch the animated series that came after that was like a prequel to the show technically, but also like more closer to the comics iteration. And then I watched Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as well. I actually watched that. I started that show before I had started Riverdale, and that was part of the reason I got into Riverdale, was like realizing like, oh, this is what the show's kind of like.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember when Chilling Adventures of Sabrina dropped, like the first, I don't know, season 1, part 1, whatever the fuck Netflix was calling it. Yeah. I watched it all in one night, which is it was only 10 episodes, but it was 10 like 60-minute episodes. So like that was still quite a feat. And I did stay up all night. But it was worth it. Like, yeah, that show rips. Did you watch that one or any of the other ones?
I watched an episode of Chilling for this conversation, and I know that I have seen the 60s cartoon, 70s cartoon, the one where she looks like
what era, but
the one where she looks incredibly like Archie comicsy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I loved it. I feel like 60s because it's got a real Flintstones Hanna-Barbera vibe.
Yeah.
Probably. So I remember watching that and not ever connecting that person with this Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like at all.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I remember watching this and just not even making the connection that this is anything to do with Archie comics,
right?
I imagine, even though it literally says it on the episode credits, like I feel like most people didn't really make that connection unless they were previously an Archie comics fan. It really wasn't until later in life, and I'm sort of like, oh, this and Josie and the Pussycats and Archie are all in the same
everything
universe.
queer is from Archie comics, Derek. Good Lord.
basically, yeah. And I will say with Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, there is, you maybe know this, but like there is a very late season or late series episode that does have
the aunts.
Hilda and Zelda in it, like from the sitcom. That's if we ever do a gimmicks episode from that show, that would be the one, because it's also a fucking bananas episode.
Oh, I should have watched that.
That is also just so fun. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to watch it out of context.
Oh, really?
Is the downside, because it is weirdly like a part of the story arc of the show at the end.
Oh shit.
But maybe you could just drop in and just be like, whatever, I don't care. Just to see those two actors in it, because they do have a lot of fun with them, and those two actors are clearly having a blast.
I love them.
Playing like really tweaked, weird versions of their sitcom characters.
Yeah. I mean, great actors. I do think that the actors who portrayed the aunts in the film were also good. They were just a much different vibe of good than Carolyn Rhea and
Beth Broderick.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're both like these two aunts, they are such sitcom archetypes, but in like the best way.
Oh my God,
like,
yes.
in a way that I think makes it so fun. Like, she's the smart, prim and proper scientist one. She's the dumber but like hot one who loves to date and wear dresses. Like, it's so like clear, but they have so much fun with that dynamic with them.
Yeah. Listen, we're not covering it today, but the Murder Express episode, they do fuck. They fuck. It is implied on screen. And so I love some aunts who fuck. Good for you, though. Good for them.
Yeah. They have as many love interests as Sabrina does throughout the show.
Yes.
If not more. Honestly, more, maybe, actually.
I might argue Hilda has the better body count than Zelda.
Yeah. I mean, Hilda and so many of her storylines are dating and getting married and stuff.
And like me too, Carolyn Ray. Hello. I'm but a man here. Well, this episode is from season 3. It's episode 5, Pancake Madness. The original air date was October 23rd, 1998. And the synopsis per IMDb, Sabrina becomes addicted to pancakes.
I love this. So that is the best IMDb synopsis I have ever read in my life. That is so on point. That's so good. So you don't have to just copy and paste the press release or try to write anything creative. It's just like, that's like, people remember this episode and they're going to know like, oh, that is the one where Sabrina becomes addicted to pancakes. Yeah. And that exactly what episode you're talking about.
And don't even mention the B story. Like, I hate when we get an IMDb that's like, I'm going to tell you everything that happened here. I love this. Yeah. This is perfect.
Yeah. I love it. I wanted to talk a little bit about the creator of the show, Nell
Yeah.
Scoville, because she's a really fucking cool person. And she hasn't like Sabrina, I think is probably one of the things that she's best known for, but she's had a very long and storied career in television and especially in comedy. She wrote the Blowfish episode of The Simpsons from season 2. A very, very famous one and probably one of the best ones from that season.
Probably one of the earliest female-led scripts then for The Simpsons if we're talking season 2.
The first episode of the Christmas episode of The Simpsons, the first episode aired was written by Mimi Pond, who's a woman. But she had a really terrible time working with them, and that was the only episode she ever wrote.
Great.
But in both cases, I don't know that I think that in both cases, they're sort of like, it was a boys club, great show, but not a good staff to work on if you're a woman, which is also kind of the thing that she's been very outspoken about in comedy. And like I said, she was a story editor for New Hart as well. So like she has worked in major TV shows. That was a huge show. So she has a long history. And the other thing she worked for a long time was Letterman. And that is probably the thing that she's probably best known for outside of her TV writing, because she was very instrumental in sparking a conversation about gender disparity in late night comedy with this Vanity Fair essay she wrote in 2009 called Letterman and Me. Specifically, she wrote about her experiences with the very hostile and sexually charged work environment that she faced there as a writer, and that many women, especially in 2009, were heavily facing in like across pretty much all late night talk shows. So like that whole industry had just become kind of a cesspool of like of nasty men and a couple women getting hired and then getting sexually harassed, basically. And her article since then, it prompted a whole conversation. A lot of dominoes fell. It's not perfect now, but it has been cited as helping the number of female writers and writers of color in late night significantly improve, like nowadays compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long journey. So anything we can do to have a couple more steps towards the end goal is fantastic. Wow, that is an incredible person. And to have created this series among the other work that Nell had done, and wow, that's really cool, Derek.
Yeah. She's done. I think a lot of the stuff that she does now is like writing pieces and essays and articles for magazines like Vanity Fair.
Hey, listen.
Which is really cool. Yeah.
That's the dream. Really just being like a paid thinker. That's kind of cool. I don't know. That's what I'm into that.
Yeah.
The episode was written by Sheldon Bull. This was a producer for the first 4 seasons before leaving in the shift to the WB. Sheldon worked with Nell Scoville on New Hart and recently was a producer on the very popular sitcom Mom.
The episode was directed by Mark Sandrowski. He only directed this episode and then 2 season 7 episodes of Sabrina. But he has directed at least one episode of like pretty much every sitcom ever. Even like Disney Channel sitcoms, just like across the spectrum, kids sitcoms, adult sitcoms, all of them. Also, no big deal, he directed 244 episodes of the 279 total episodes of Big Bang Theory, which I'm glad he's collecting those oh my God, what's the word? Residuals. Jesus, I can't remember the word. I wanted to call it retribution.
Well, I mean, I suppose.
But for Big Bang Theory, because I was going to say, I'm like, it is really wild to direct that many episodes of one show. But then I'm like, are episodes of Big Bang Theory really that hard to direct?
Here's the deal, Derek.
You probably could knock out like 3 in a week, really, if you think about it.
This is the end of our friendship because I have seen all 279 episodes of The Big Bang Theory, and I will tell you, there's a house style, and that is Sandrowski's style, is what we're gonna say. He set that style.
Well, good for him.
James Burrows directed every episode of Will and Grace, but like. The people who do this, who are like the only director in a sitcom, is so rare and it's like unheard of now.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, it's, yeah.
It's
weird.
It's also very funny to me hearing you say that he only directed 8 episodes of Sabrina, because I watched Melissa Joan Hart talk about this episode on a video podcast called Women Who Binge, which is about watching TV. And had to watch it at an increased speed because there was a lot going on. And she described this man like he was her father and was like, I loved every time he would direct and he was always there. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, cool. He was like around.
3 episodes he directed, not 8. 3 episodes in total.
Oh,
yeah.
2
It was this
7.
one episode and then 2 episodes in season 7. So that's even funnier.
Even stranger. Like that feels so weird because she had like love in her heart. And I was like, oh, cool. So this is like a guy that we're going to see a lot.
Maybe he was part of, I don't know, maybe he was on staff in another capacity or something. These are the only ones he's credited as directing. I mean, I didn't see him credited any other way on Sabrina. So
I don't know, Derek. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not here to
so interesting.
I'm not here to fact check my idol in life, Melissa Joan Hart, but she also was like, oh, and then I would go on to direct all these episodes. And I was like, girl, you were there for a couple, like, calm down. Like, calm down, what's going on? She did say on the podcast record that this is her favorite episode. She has also said that it is one of her favorite episodes, so choose what you like to believe. She cited that she got to do physical comedy in a way that she hadn't been able to do since Clarissa Explains It All. I also challenge that because there's a lot of physical comedy in the first 2 seasons of Sabrina.
But I guess it's I mean, yeah. I wonder if maybe Melissa Joan Hart just doesn't have a good memory of these things. But also, she was very young, so
She was very young.
You know, and it was a very hectic time. I'm glad that she remembers it all fondly. But I do think that like maybe the physical, like I wonder if it's a different kind of physical comedy that she's doing in this episode because she gets to like
That's true.
literally run around and wear like a big suit and like go into a bunch of different locations and scream and do like lots of like visual like physical twitching and
That's true.
fidgeting and stuff like that maybe. Like I do think that maybe she does a little more with her body than she probably was able to do in the first 2 seasons, as weird as they were. But I'd have to go back and watch all of the first 2 seasons to fact check.
You do not need to do that. I watched enough of them
Yeah.
to let you know that
Yeah.
like they're still there and they are ready for you like
Yeah.
a warm hug.
Yeah, for
Also,
sure.
I don't want to like point people to another podcast to listen to, but I did love the 5-minute tirade that Melissa Joan Hart went on about being at the top of the stairs where there is nothing. And anyone who has acted on stage knows this, that there's nothing at the top of stairs. Like, you know that, right?
Yeah.
It's just blank space. So standing there for your cue is the worst thing ever. And she
Oh,
just went
God.
on and on and on about it.
But no, that's so funny though, because they're in that like her house in that set for like the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
And she comes down those stairs like twice an episode.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I never thought about that, but I guess I could see that being like a pet peeve for
Yeah.
you.
Have you?
Yeah.
I know you've done some work on stage. Have you ever acted in a show that had a staircase?
Oh yeah, but it's still different like doing it for a play
Okay.
than doing it for your
That's fair.
day job every day for 7 years.
My God.
Like waiting, because when you're doing live theater, you're always waiting for your cue in an annoying space, but like you're not waiting very much for that long. You know what I mean? Like getting up every morning, like 7 days a week for 7 straight years, knowing that you have to wait in the exact same space every day.
Yep.
Waiting for your cue. Like I can see how that would drive you a little bit mad.
Right. So I guess that gives me a lot of empathy for any time I've ever watched a gag reel where someone wasn't like in on laughing. And you're
Yeah.
kind of like, wow,
Yeah.
have a little bit of fun. Like, no, that would suck. 15 hours on the job. And like, you can't
Yeah.
say your line right. So I can come down the fucking stairs.
Yeah. That's so funny. Well, I'm glad that Melissa Joan Hart has like really only good things to say about her experience on this show. She seems to have like loved that this is part of her history and like the most famous thing she's ever done really, in her career, I think. That's really nice. I wish she had less conservative views, but I'm glad that she's at least not so outspoken about them as other people maybe are.
Well,
so.
don't watch this podcast then, Derek, because we did traverse
Oh,
into
no.
those waters.
Oh boy.
It's fine.
Well,
it's fine.
yeah. Look, she's able to balance out the scales by having done this very feminist, at times, like, I think left-leaning show.
Oh, yeah.
And that made a bigger impact, I think, than probably anything that she's saying now in the age where she's playing a grandma in movies, weirdly, which still weirds everybody out. I think.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, I think the good that she put out into the world with this show outweighs the bad that I don't really love or agree with. I don't think she's like homophobic, right?
No,
She's
I think
she's just like,
I think she loves the gays. I think that they're
Yeah.
keeping her residuals coming in.
yeah, I think she has to recognize that. I do remember a piece, sorry to just go off on all these tangents with this. I do remember a piece where like where someone had asked her point blank about like how queer people resonated with Sabrina the character, you know, and her like sort of coming out process. Like she literally goes in and out of a closet in the show.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I don't think it's really, I wouldn't call it a gay allegory. And I think she even was sort of like, it kind of almost feels like an allegory for being a Republican in Hollywood or something like that. So, which is not the same as being hateful towards the gays,
Right.
but is a little bit hateful, you know? And I'm also like, no, this is the gayest shit I've ever seen. Are you kidding
Show is
me?
really gay.
There's literally a closet. Like, shut up.
Yeah. You live with two women who are sisters, but like, you know, for 600 years. Good Lord.
Like, not the most perfect person, but she's great in this show.
She is.
And seems lovely to just casually talk to if politics don't come up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sabrina will be right back on ABC. Hi, I'm Sabrina, and I'm a witch. Ta-da!
Clarissa's Melissa Joan Hart is now casting her spell in Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
In the show, I talk to a cat,
It's me, Salem the cat.
a book,
Surprise!
but at least I don't talk to walls like Clarissa did.
Cool. Coming up next, it's Salem the cat. All right, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm ready for my close-up.
I love being a witch.
Follow me to the premiere of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Next.
So we have a couple gimmicks to talk about this episode, and I'll hand it over to you for the first one,
Yeah,
Derek, which
sure,
is
sure.
the after-school very special episode of television.
Oh, yes. I feel like even casual people who aren't like obsessive TV people know what this is. But yeah, these are episodes of shows, usually sitcoms. They confront a highly emotional, like more serious, real world kind of topical issue. Think your sitcom episodes that are famously about kids taking drugs or first having sex or abuse or death or racism or sexism. It can get real fucking dark in some of these very special episodes. And a lot of the most famous instances are characterized by being like drastically different in tone, like way more serious than the show normally is. They'll usually end with like characters learning a lesson that's like clearly spelled out to the audience. Sometimes there's a special guest character that's like teaching you this lesson, or like there's a special message directing viewers to a phone number, or like where to go to get help for your addiction or something like that, you know? Like we've all seen this in the television that we've watched. I think that you can trace a lot of these. I mean, topical things have come up in sitcoms since the history of TV, but I think that like being highlighted so much, I think you can really trace it probably back to like 70s Norman Lear sitcoms like All in the Family.
Yeah.
But I think you could also argue that those maybe treated them a little more intelligently and like with a little more of a careful touch than like what would become the more parodied very special episodes, which the peak of those happened more, I think, more in the 80s, where you would literally get like every sitcom would have at least one episode a season where it's advertised as like today on a very special episode, or an episode parents can't miss.
Tuesday on a very special Full House, a story of love
We missed you, Grandpa.
and loss.
His heart gave out.
Stuff like that. And then you'd watch the episode and it's just the most like over the top, like, oh no, little Michael J. Fox is smoking marijuana. What do we do? You know, actually, that's probably a bad example for that show. But
Yeah, I wish.
I
wish he would pop a doobie.
that actually is the worst example I could have possibly come up with, actually.
God, do a line of cocaine for God's sakes, my man.
Yeah. I think my brain went to that because there were very special episodes of Family Ties, but
not
it wouldn't have
not
been
Alex.
that subject
No.
matter. Yeah. So whatever, strike that. But I'm not cutting it out because I just have to show my ass on display for that terrible example. We have to do a Family Ties episode.
A Family
at some
Ties
point.
episode. Yeah.
We have to. Yeah, but all that's to say, I mean, like, I think it became a joke in pop culture, right? You get your like Saved by the Bell, I'm so excited sequences. They're like the worst ones are too preachy. They're so dark that they become funny. Sometimes they're just really absurd with the topics they're dealing with. Again, Saved by the Bell, like caffeine pills. Like you're gonna do a drug episode, like don't do a drug episode if you're gonna do fucking caffeine pills, you know? And so like I think that by the late 90s, audiences are more savvy. People are more cynical. Those episodes, they weren't gone. You're still going to see them. I think I'm sure you still see them on sitcoms to this day.
Oh, sure.
But I think that the traditional like very straightforward version of them does kind of fall out of fashion by the point that Sabrina is happening. And so if it's happening, it's either on a sitcom that is just not self-aware at all, or something like Seventh Heaven or something like that, or it tries to have a cynical enough edge to like recognize like, yeah, we're doing a serious episode, but we're not going to like advertise it as a very special episode because that's a red flag to people.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. So this episode, it's like capitalizing on people's awareness of those types of episodes. It is a parody of that sort of episode. It's like an absurd topic, but the topic is like Sabrina does drugs, but the drugs are pancakes.
Right.
And like it's taking it quote unquote seriously within the universe of the episode, but it's so over the top that like it is obviously very funny. I would even argue that the B plot of this episode is very special episode territory.
Yeah.
It's dealing with like a deportation and illegal immigration story, which in 80s or early 90s sitcom would be a topic that like, yeah, the kid's friend at school, like, ends up getting deported at the end of the episode, and it's really sad, and you learn about illegal immigration or something like that, like that is part and parcel to it too. Anytime there's a very, very topical cultural issue that's talked about seriously, like that falls into that category.
The other gimmick we're working with here is that this is a parody of other media. Now, you might be going straight to Reefer Madness because the episode's title is Pancake Madness, but hold your jets because every article ever written about this television episode says that it is parodying the 1969 film Winter of the Witch, which I watched, and no, it's not parodying that. But Winter of the Witch is a short film in which a group of children are transfixed by blueberry pancakes, which give them LSD-like hallucinations. And because it featured pancakes, everyone says, oh, this is based on Winter of the Witch.
That's so funny.
And in most recent history, it is the first time that I've been caught in a internet cycle loop where an article referenced an article referenced an article referenced the original article. And I became trapped and I just couldn't escape it.
Yeah, like no one from the show has ever cited this obscure 1969 short film.
No, and it was weird. I mean, it wasn't even good weird. It was sort of like, I don't know. I'm an arts. No offense to art students, but like sometimes your short films are not good. I'm an art student and I learned to play with cameras, and here's my film.
Yeah.
Instead, let's talk about Reefer Madness. So with the name of the episode and the fact that Sabrina's pancake addiction is treated as an allegory for a serious addiction, I think it stands to reason that one influence might be the 1936 film Reefer Madness, originally known as Tell Your Children. Derek?
I think that stands to reason, sure.
Derek, what's your exposure to this? And I'm going to be very generous here and call it a film.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've never sat down and watched the whole thing, and I considered doing it for this podcast, and I'm like,
good choice.
Do
you made a really good choice, Derek.
Through that. I have better things to do with my life. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's been parodied so much in pop culture, and like, so I've seen clips from it, and I've seen every parody under the sun of it, like enough that I don't know how I could even watch the movie. Like, I know you can't take it seriously even if you watch it, but like if I watch it, I would just be like, I've seen all this parodied already. I already know what I'm watching, like, so, I know what it is. And I know that it's a very funny, ridiculous way to try to warn children about the dangers of marijuana from people who have clearly never understood or seen anyone smoke weed in their life. Yeah. So that's my exposure to it. I have no interest in ever actually watching the real movie, because why?
Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
If I was a better friend, I would have taken a couple of screenshots of just some faces, because they challenge even the 60s Spider-Man cartoon faces that you're grabbing right now while being web snappers. Like guy has taken a hit off a joint and his eyes are just bugging out. And just as a quick note, like that's not what your eyes do under the influence of cannabis. They actually like usually contract. But if you're not familiar with the film, it's a story about drugs revolving around the events that ensue when high school students are lured by a gang of drug pushers into trying marijuana. After trying it one time, they become addicted, eventually leading them to become involved in all sorts of crimes, including a hit and run accident in which somebody under the influence of cannabis mows down a pedestrian and the car is going 5 miles per hour if it's going a second. They kill someone and there is a graphic on-screen rape. Or
Jesus.
Attempted rape. My apologies. And while all this is happening, they suffer hallucinations and descend into insanity. The film was financed by a church group and designed to show parents, which is why the bookends of the film are a scientist presenting his findings to parents at a PTA meeting.
Somebody's got to do it.
Listen, Derek, I watched this in college because we were required to.
You were wait. What was the requirement?
It was my drugs and alcohol and society class. Like it was
okay. So it's just so part of culture that you have to. Yeah.
No, it was like my professor took a baseball bat to us and said, "If you do this, I will hit you with this bat." Like, don't design educational campaigns based on this ludicrous fear mongering that has no basis in science whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just it's impossible that any of the things happened based on cannabis use. Like, it's just. Let alone 30s cannabis, which like could barely get you high. Like, just nonsense.
So funny.
And so the episode's not a direct parody because you're not like Sabrina doesn't hit a guy in a car. Like you can't like draw these parallels. Like there aren't two weird people who you think were going to come up to you and say, we saw you across a bar. We liked your vibe, which is how they were sold in the film. And they just pick up high school students who are adults acting like high school students.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Give them marijuana with an H. That's not happening in this episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So it's not a direct parody, but I will say Melissa Joan Hart and the way that folks acted in Reefer Madness or Tell Your Children was sort of our first on-screen overact on drug addiction. And so Melissa Joan Hart's overact to show addiction does mirror that. And I kind of have to assume, you know, like Jesse also as well. We talked about the Saved by the Bell episode. Jesse Spano's acting on the caffeine pills is the same sort of thing. It's just this sort of overact.
It makes sense. I don't think this episode needed to be a direct parody of Reefer Madness to work because people know, even if people don't know the reference point of Reefer Madness, they know by 1997, they know the very special episode brand of drug addiction, which is that overacting.
Yeah.
Like they know what that is. You recognize like, oh, you're trying to show what it's like to be on drugs. You're just going to immediately spiral into twitching, shaking madness, screaming at people kind of thing. And then, you know, ruining all your relationships with your friends and family. Like people recognize that. And so it's like, it's a parody in vibes more than anything, but like it works, you know.
Well, and I think
reference point.
The name of the episode, Pancake Madness. And I think anytime you put a word and the word madness, you are sort of like committing to this bit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So even though you've never seen this, like you're aware that Cheech and Chong has ripped this off. Like you're aware of the parody of all this. It's just part of like the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's interesting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the making of this episode, and I'm going to try not to go on a tirade, but
this is cool. I didn't expect this to be the route that this took, but this is, I think all this is really interesting.
Okay.
I'm okay with spending a lot of time on this. This is fascinating.
Well, buckle in because we're going to talk about the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. So this episode was one of alarmingly, I said quite a few, but alarmingly many television programs that were produced in the late 1990s, early 2000s, really just 2000, 2001, that received funding for including an anti-drug message. Everything I'm going over here, I'm going to give credit to Salon journalist Daniel Forbes and Washington Post journalist Howard Coots and Sharon Waxman. But I will also say this was the first national presentation I did was about this ad campaign from the ONDCP.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Nice.
How bad it was. So if you want to skip ahead, thesis statement, this didn't work. So we have to go a little bit back in time. We have to go to the 80s. Derek's not born yet, and David is not cognitive yet, but I'm alive. The Partnership for a Drug-Free America is formed, and this is a group of folks who work in media, seemingly unattached to any other of the normal conservative things that you would find associated with that. That's later in the partnership's history. But they're just like dudes. They're Don Draper dudes who are like, hey, I think we need to sell not using drugs the way that we sell breakfast cereal because there's money to be made in it. So if we could make ad campaigns that sell not using drugs, people will buy them. It's kind of a cool idea, honestly. It's trying to work in the marketplace. Yeah. And they were capitalists, but otherwise they didn't seem to be bad dudes. So in 1990, the partnership had collected and spent $360 million in cash and in-kind donations of time to put out anti-drug messages on television. The most famous of which is also the one that was their undoing, which was "This is your brain on drugs."
Iconic.
Now, did you see "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" or did you see the Rachel Cook redo in the 90s?
I saw both.
Okay.
I remember seeing both.
That would make sense. It would make total sense.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm more familiar with the Rachel Lee Cook one because
She looks fantastic.
The one. Yeah.
I mean, that was also the height of Rachel Lee Cook's powers, and I hate that that's how she was used.
No, I know her career should have been so much better than it was.
Really
she deserves so much more, but.
Well, I mentioned the blowback, but before the Rachel Lee Cook commercial was made, "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" was just a joke. It never caught firm with the audiences. It never changed people's opinions of drugs. If anything, it made drugs seem cool and made young people wanting to invest and explore drugs. You can't give this all to Your Brain on Drugs because this is also the outcome of the DARE program. The only thing the DARE program ever did was make people interested in drugs.
Oh no, it did more. It turned people into furries because of the lion mascot.
Oh, yes. Well,
that was so many kids' first crushes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, duh. We studied that in drugs and alcohol in society class. I don't know why I don't remember that.
Yeah. Getting kids addicted to hot lions.
Oh my God. I will say probably furries have fewer drug problems than other populations, but I have no statistical data on that.
Oh, plenty of drugs are taken. That doesn't, responsibly, I think.
So it's the early 90s. This partnership of dudes who are used to winning because that's what they do, and then they have 3 martinis, are really bummed out that their little partnership society is not working well anymore. So what do? Well, fuck the free market. We're just going to go tell Congress to buy ads instead of selling them on the free marketplace. They lobby Congress under Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, famously
cool
anti-drug. Yeah.
Great guy we all love.
And Congress approves $1 billion in spending over 5 years, and they're going to give it under the guidance of the Office of National Drug Control Policy. The ONDCP is not based out of the Institutes of Health. It is not based out of Health and Human Services. It is a White House initiative, which means that the head of ONDCP, the drug czar, reports directly to the president or one of his advisors. So this is not a big oversight area in our government. There's usually a lot of checks and balances in Fed stuff. Yeah. None here. The ONDCP is really, really bad. They do this shit all the time where they'll secure public funding and then they'll just sort of waste it.
Yeah. I think that this is more the media centric side of it, but just like look into anything war on drugs related and it's an absolute like shit show.
Yep.
Like one of the worst things to happen to this country. It's every way the government has like dealt with drugs, I feel like across the board has just historically always been bad. I feel like,
and you'd
like
be
99% of the time.
You'd be right, because this is a $1 billion investment into the ONDCP. During the same period of time, the National Institute of Drug Abuse, which is the scientific arm of the federal government that funds drug studies on addiction, received a paltry $80 million. So to actually investigate what works and what doesn't work, we funded nothing and we gave $1 billion to this. But it was a Republican Congress. They're not into giving money away, right, Derek? They're conservatives. They want to like make bang for their buck. They said, if you want $1 of advertising, you've got to give us $1 of free advertising. It was this 2-for-1 deal. So they sold it as a $2 billion anti-drug campaign that would only cost $1 billion. And at first it worked. A couple of the networks, ABC, NBC, aired a couple ads and then gave them a couple of free ads, which is why we saw so many of these ads when we were kids.
Right.
But it wasn't a great deal because they were like, we're essentially selling you ad time for half price. And that's bullshit. Well, enter Zenith Media Services Incorporated, who came up with a compromise. Instead of giving free ad time, the feds would pay for an ad, and then the network would just host programming that was anti-drug instead of offering a free drug slot. So existing scripted programs and later unscripted programs that would be anti-drug in nature And the way to determine that was through the ONDCP. But at the time, the ONDCP didn't have that many staff. It's only up to 90 today. And during those days, probably 30 people worked there. So Zenith got the contract. They came up with the idea, and then they were in charge of deciding whether or not a scripted program met the conditions, and they would award units of free advertising credited to the program. Everybody took part of this. Everybody got a piece of this pie. In the first year, 32 shows participated. By the second year, 109 programs had participated.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Like, you're getting free money, basically. And and in some cases, like, I mean, like, drug addiction stories can be really interesting and really interesting and compelling. Like, really, I don't see an issue. Like, if they're collecting the checks to just tell a story that they would tell on their show anyway, like, I don't think that's a big deal at all. Like, whatever. I think the problem just becomes when it's like shoehorned into a show that really doesn't need to or shouldn't be telling those types of stories, or can't really confidently or responsibly tell those types of stories.
Yeah, like one of the shows that got funded for this was ER.
Of course they'll have a drug addiction story. Yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 credits because it was an hour long, 1 credit for 30 minutes, 2 credits for an hour. And the drug addiction was Juliet Margulies. It was like an existing storyline that existed in the world.
Right.
Awesome.
For sure.
But like 90210 did it, Home Improvement did it, Chicago Hope did it, Seventh Heaven, Boy Meets World, General Hospital, and yes, my girl Sabrina the Teenage Witch was one of the credited programs.
Wow.
There should have been documents kept about this because it was a federal contract, but we'll get into that later. There is no definitive list of what got funded, but Sabrina was definitely one of them. And so I don't have a direct reference on this, but I've read all of the synopsises of the programs that were going on from Sabrina, and I have to say it's this episode that got the ONDCP credit because it met the criteria.
What other episode would there be?
There was nothing. Unless I watch all of them and I just errantly see Harvey getting offered a joint, which I was not willing to do. I did so much already for this.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I would have remembered that, I think.
I mean, here's the criteria that I found on a leaked list from Zenith Media Services. A main character becomes instantly affected by addiction, which was one of their criteria. We, as the audience, see the impact of withdrawal, which we do when we're in Sabrina's bedroom. And then the character clearly demonstrates that they've learned a lesson or faced consequences. And she does at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But you can't talk about this whole ONDCP media buy programming thing without talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4 episode Beer Bad, which famously not a great episode, but was an attempt from the WB to get these funds, but was deemed inappropriate for the match because drugs were an issue, but it wasn't on strategy. It was otherworldly nonsense, very abstract, and not like real life kids taking drugs. Viewers wouldn't make the link to our message.
I find that I know that this is being posed because when you watch Sabrina, it's like, well, that also seems to be magical, otherworldly nonsense that's very abstract and not like real life kids taking drugs as well. And I know that that's the question we're posing, and it is absurd and stupid, and all of this is stupid. All of their criteria is like ridiculous, but I actually like. I can, and I'll be curious what all of your theories on this are.
Yeah,
I can sort of see the logic in the Buffy scenario, not like them feeling like it doesn't qualify, because I do think there is something weird. I think like with Sabrina, the allegory is so clear that pancakes are drugs and that's it. With Sabrina, with Buffy, there's some weirdness where like there's no allegory because it is literally beer. Like they are using, it is alcohol in the episode. And then, so there's not like a clear parallel of like, this is your X thing representing drug. It's just, this is alcohol. And then all the things that alcohol does to Buffy, like, you can draw the lines of saying like, this represents this thing that happens to you. When you're on alcohol, it makes you stupid or whatever. But like, it's not as direct of an allegory because they are intentional. Like, I'm not going to go to bat for Beer Bad or anything, but the upside of that episode is that it is a comedy episode and they have fun with that stupid concept of Buffy turning into a caveman from drinking magical beer.
That is true.
And I think that you can watch that as a drug council person and just being like, you just made you didn't make a funny allegory of drugs. You made a joke out of taking the drugs. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? I know it doesn't make sense, but does that make sense for their logic?
Makes total sense, Derek. And we can actually use published information to prove your point.
Cool.
Because a WB show that tried to apply for the money called Smart Guy.
I remember that show with Taj Mowry, right?
I believe you.
Yeah.
I did not recall this until I was doing this research.
I didn't watch it on WB, but it ran like hell on the Disney Channel in reruns all the time. So
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, they applied for the money. The script and WB Scripts just got tons of notes back, which Fox Scripts, CBS Scripts, and ABC Scripts said they did not. NBC didn't comment. So the WB was getting a little bit more of a hairy eyeball. It was the biggest youth market for adolescents. So if you're trying to make an impact on drug use for adolescents, that's the one you want to be paying attention to. And they described the characters who were using drugs as too cool and said, make them losers. And they did rewrite it, and that's how they were able to get credit. So I bet, and no evidence on this, so this is just me putting my toe out here. I bet notes came back on Beer Bad, and they said, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And it's too late to go back to the drawing board, so we're just going to move forward with the episode.
Probably so. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it totally makes sense.
In the second year, and the other thing I want to say about this, just in case you were like, no, this is a good idea. The ONDCP is not so bad. The UPN wasn't considered for what I can only describe as racism.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
There you go. But in the second year, ESPN was also one of the places that was allowed to happen, which is wild because in the first year it was like broadcast only, nothing that requires a subscription, which is like cable.
Yeah.
But ESPN got to do it, and how they applied for it was by having their news programs take part, forcing their journalists to cover player drug use, which is part of what led to Darryl Strawberry's sort of public spotlight around his drug abuse problems. And changed the nature of sports journalism kind of on ESPN moving forward to be a little bit more gossipy.
Huh. That's so weird.
Yeah.
What a weird direction for that to take.
Meddling with the news is illegal. It's hard to believe in the world that we live in, but the federal government's not allowed to do that. So in 2005, the GAO, the General Administration Office, found the ONDCP as guilty of violating the domestic propaganda prohibitions for tampering with news copy that was read on ESPN.
That fucking rips that's what that all led to. Like, that is so fucking funny that like that's the end of it. That it's like, you're straight up making propaganda. Like, fuck off.
Oh, my babe, there's more comeuppance coming in this story. First, I'm going to say that I'm a public health guy. This was my bread and butter. There was no proof that this worked. In fact, if anything, this made the problem worse because it decreased the campaign as a whole. When people watched and they only sold 3 ads, by the way, the Rachel Lee Cook, Your Brain on Drugs, and then 2 more. One was someone who was like really, like, they looked like they had used a lot of substances and they were supposed to evoke images of poverty and despair to you. And then another one was a parent talking about how important it was for their child to go to college. Mm-hmm. When exposed to the ads, people were more likely to have a lower opinion of the harms of drug use, which actually increases adolescent use. You want harms to match subjectively and objectively what they are. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. So this should have been cut right off the bat because this wasn't working. But the ONDCP is not required to prove that its stuff works, unlike HHS programs, which comes out of SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Service Administration, or the National Institutes of Health, National Institute of Drug Abuse, or Drug Addiction, NIDA. So this was a failure, and there was no check and balance in place to say it's not working, stop doing it. So all of the $1 billion was spent in the end on bullshit.
Wow.
Women who saw the campaign were actually more likely to use drugs, by the way.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So get it, girls. In 2000, the National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws, NORML, filed a complaint to the FCC that because this was paid for advertising, all programs that received this money should have been labeled as sponsored by the ONDCP. And the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, agreed with their finding, but it was 2005 and the campaign was already dead. So here's your comeuppance. In the architect of the plan, Alan Levitt was driven to resignation in 2003 amid scandal and controversy for misappropriated funds. Wow. They had been overbilled and overpaid Zenith, which then instantly rebranded themselves to Ogilvy and Mather.
Ew.
But you couldn't get away because in 2005, Shoana Silfert and Thomas Early from Zenith were found guilty of fraud and conspiracy, fined and sent to federal prison.
Fuck yeah. Fuck the capitalists. Drugs are cool and good. Yeah, cool. Happy ending.
Yep. Yeah. I will also say that unfortunately this campaign really negatively set us back in what prevention and health promotion messages should be to the public.
I'm sure.
Because it made the public not trust people who do public health, which we
Yeah.
just lived through with COVID. Yay.
Right. No, I think it makes, I think you absolutely could trace that to how people respond to public health officials today. Because if you spent, such a long time being bombarded by the absolute dog shit messages that sometimes are straight up lies, and if they're not lies, are presented to you so ham-fistedly that you can't take them seriously. Like, again, see like the dangers of caffeine pills on you singing "I'm so excited."
Right.
Like, why would you take anything anyone says seriously? It makes sense. God, that's so fucked up. Yeah. But at least we got a fun episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch out of it, I guess. I mean,
which probably earned them a free unit of advertising.
And truly,
Yay,
like
Sabrina.
This, I think this is the Sabrina case is kind of the best case scenario to come out of it, because I think that they recognized that you can't do a serious drug episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch that is not the tone of this show. The joy of this show is how unseriously it takes itself.
Yeah.
And so they go in this other direction where it's just sort of like, we're going to hit all the criteria, but in the most absurdist way possible, with an allegory that even a child could watch and understand like what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even need the Reefer Madness reference point to get that, like, wow, Sabrina really loves pancakes so much that it makes her go crazy. Like, that is funny. Like, and that's how you get out of it. And I don't think it like negatively affects how you're going to see like drug media in the future or anything either, So yeah, that's so interesting.
Well then, Derek, let's jump into it and let's talk Pancake Madness from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
We have a cold open for this that has nothing to do with the drug story. And this is actually, interestingly, about like setting up the B story, because it's with Sabrina, Hilda, and Zelda intending to go to the other realm to see a movie. But for some reason, Hilda just like can't get past the portal. And they don't explain why. We will learn why later. My first thought from this scene is, why is Zelda bringing a bucket of popcorn to the movie theater? In the other realm, do they not serve popcorn? You have to bring your own?
Maybe it's the not right type of popcorn.
Maybe.
I also bumped on that and I was like, wow, girl, like and listen, I love popcorn, so I can't fault her, but it was wild.
Yeah.
But it's also like movie theater bucket. Like, do you just have a movie theater bucket of popcorn? Zelda.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess she could just, magic one up, I guess. Anything in this show could be explained by them just summoning it with magic. But it's funny that she did that in the first place.
The CGI on the barrier to the other realm is really good. The little hexagon force field that's holding Hilda back. I was very impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
We then go into the opening credits. If you don't remember the opening credits, they rock. I suppose they get better in some people's minds.
No, I mean, nothing beats this, because this literally has a couch gag in it,
Yeah, it has a couch gag. So it's Sabrina getting dressed magically in front of a mirror, but then the last outfit is always different. There was never truly like a couch gag because there was no connection to the episode whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just a random joke.
So in this one, she's in furs like a cave woman would be, and she turns to the camera and says, "I think my dinosaur is double parked."
Yeah, look, that's the type of humor this show has. It doesn't even. It's silly. It's a dumb little pun. You don't have to think much about it, and that's fine. That's what makes it fun. Yeah.
And what a person to do it, because Melissa Joan Hart has worn some wild outfits already in her career, so she's never going to say no to a costume.
Oh yeah.
The episode gets started in earnest. Sabrina has come downstairs to the kitchen and offers to zap her cat Salem some breakfast. She magically summons pancakes, but is immediately interrupted by her aunts, Hilda and Zelda.
You know, I've always felt breakfast is the most important meal of the morning.
You know what we never have in this house?
Possum.
No. Pancakes.
Pancakes for breakfast? You're mad.
Pancakes? No.
You know, the whole fork up to my mouth thing implied I was going to eat those.
No pancakes, not in this house, not ever.
Zelda says that just one bite and she'll be hooked for life. And then the aunts leave and Sabrina takes a bite of pancakes before school and says, see, nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, already I do like how quickly they get to the like, no pancakes, not in this house, not ever. And the aunts are so like over the top about the danger, how dangerous pancakes are. Which it is so funny that Sabrina's like 17 or something at this point, and it's like, you've never had pancakes in your life. This is the first time this has ever come up. It's so funny.
Well, this is written about everywhere, but she did have a plate of pancakes in the pilot episode.
Ooh.
But internet sleuths have pointed out that she never ate. We never saw her eat from them. So
there you go. There you go. It all works. They planned it.
Sure.
Yeah, I do think it's, but yeah, I mean, I like immediately jumping to the over the top nature of the dangers of it. One thing I do think is interesting though, that I'm a little bit surprised that like the drug council, whatever it was called, I always forgot the name of it. Let it be part of their criteria, as far as we know, is like, it's interesting that it's not like Sabrina is introduced to something new that she gets addicted to. It's that her family has a very particular special biological addiction to pancakes. Yeah. I think that the thought process is that it's sort of like, well, if you're a fan, if you're a child of an alcoholic, you have a predisposition to being an alcoholic. I think that's what the thought process is, but it's still funny because that does still feel like it stands apart from the reefer madness of it all, where it is just sort of like, no, you are a special child who is the only one in this world who would deal with this problem and can't eat these pancakes. Like, I don't really know what to think about that. I just think that's sort of an interesting difference from the usual type of drug allegory that you would get.
Yeah, you're coming at this from such a beautiful, beautiful, well thought out way, Derek. I have to assume that Thomas Early, who later went to jail, just played golf with the head of ABC Studios. Oh, sure. And that's why ABC Scripts just got a check on them.
Yeah, that probably makes sense too. Yeah, whatever.
So just funny. Also, I'm just going to say, first of all, I forgot the running bit about the Spellman family secret, but it was like tickling my brain for it to come up right here in the beginning, because Sabrina goes, "Oh my gosh, is this the secret?" And Hilda is like, "No, not the family secret."
Yeah, this show had like ongoing storylines every season. Yeah, because it was they always mark Sabrina's growth with like, you have to get your witch's license, or you have to, in this case, discover the family secret, and she always accomplishes that goal by the end of the season. I don't remember what the family secret ended up
I don't either.
being actually.
It wasn't that they're addicted to pancakes.
Yeah, it wasn't that they're addicted to pancakes. It's just a dark secret. My only other thought about this scene, I mean, the whole little bit is funny. Everything with Salem is always funny. Like, I love that he just says non sequiturs sometimes. Like, we've never had in this house possum. Like, they just have him say a funny word and that's it.
I mean, Derek, Salem probably informed a lot more of my personality than I'm willing to admit to.
Sure.
But him saying pancakes for breakfast, you're mad.
Yeah.
It's just, I laughed out loud. Like, it's very funny to be sarcastic about breakfast.
Yeah. Actually, we have to talk about Salem for a second, because I feel like it's just, you just kind of accept it now because you know that Salem is a part of Sabrina. But if you think about it, how fucking wild is it to have this sitcom where you have this animatronic puppet cat character in it, like, and there have been sitcoms with like puppets or whatever and things that you have had Alf before, you've had Unhappily Ever After, like, you've had stuff like that before, but the technological innovation of Salem the cat and how he evolves, like the technology gets better over the course of the show.
Yeah.
Like the animatronic that they have, I guess it's a puppet. I think it's a puppet most of the time, but I do think that there is an animatronic one too that they use. Isn't there? Yeah, it's like a combination.
So I looked this up
of
because
them.
I was curious, because we see in this episode, we always see Salem on something where a person could be underneath. But even by this point in time in the series, Salem has both an independent mechanism, so an animatronic, and a hand puppet.
Yeah, an actual puppet.
I don't know what to call that. An actual puppet. And so for this scene in the kitchen, what they did was they have one kitchen table that is normal and one kitchen table that has a hole where Salem goes. Yeah. And they switch them out when Salem is not there to Salem being there.
It's so cool. The ingenuity of having that is so cool. And I think that provides another kind of magical element to this show that like a worse version of the show just like wouldn't have. They would just have a cat on set that they just have a voiceover for. But the fact that they were like, no, we have to see this cat moving and talking like a person, and letting Salem do some stunts sometimes. Like Salem is a centerpiece of the show. Like and he's the only cast member with Sabrina that like is a full-time cast member in every single season of the show from beginning to end. You know, like you don't have this show without having Salem part of it, like spouting the non sequiturs and the puns and everything. And again, the fact that they chose to like have an animatronic and a puppet for that they'd have to rebuild their sets around to make work is like so cool, you know. Like I love that they did
so
that.
much work too, just so much work for the 90s. I think is also the thing. Like if you redid Sabrina the Teenage Witch today, Salem is 100% CGI, and they're just acting mime to the cat.
Yeah.
Unless you've got an Artur who's actually going to like do this thing right.
Right.
So if like the MCU version of Salem is the worst version, this is the best version, 100%.
Yeah. No.
And there's a cat actor too, or probably many. I didn't look that part up.
Yeah, there is. But I mean, it's just it's really fun, and I mean, I think it provides another angle of flavor to the show that you don't get anywhere else, especially for a show that is not the most high budget show ever. It is still ultimately a sitcom, a multicam sitcom. So I think that's another element to it, that like it's not a high budget show and they still pull it off like very consistently throughout the show.
Now, have you seen comic drawings of Salem?
Like original Archie comics?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like a poofy red cat. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so different for me than the Salem that I know, but I love that cat. That cat is a huggable, squeezable, world dominating cat.
I love both versions. I think a black cat, like the iconography of a black cat makes more like it's such a smart change to have Salem be a black cat, and you know that's definitely been a mainstay. Like Salem is a black cat in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as well, you know. So it makes sense, and I mean I love a black cat. I have a black cat, so you know, it's cool.
Well, Sabrina's proven that she doesn't have an addiction to pancakes, so she's off to school. In the hallway of high school, she sees Harvey. I did make a note. This is during them being on again, because I truly couldn't remember.
How could you?
And so thank you to the Sabrina Wiki, which just lists every episode as Harvey on again or Harvey off again.
That's so fun.
So Harvey is having pancakes in a to-go box. Okay, fine. That's great. And Sabrina asks for a bite, but he doesn't relent. He throws away his remaining pancakes, and Sabrina dives into the trash to savor the remaining bites.
Come on, just one little bite.
Since when did you become such a pancake fiend?
I'm not a fiend.
Ew. They say she keeps all her belongings in a shopping cart.
My aunts did this to me. They put weird thoughts in my head. I am not getting hooked on pancakes. Hey, what's in there? French toast. Move along.
It's like literally the second scene of Sabrina's pancake addiction, and she's already like digging pancakes out of the trash. It's so funny, like desperately so. It's so good.
We get a great line from Harvey that asks, "When did you become a pancake fiend?" To me, the term fiend is pretty aligned with addiction, because it's the way in which a lot of people refer to people with substance addiction issues as fiends or drug fiends.
Yeah. That was a good addition.
And then I don't have a lot of her in the notes, but Libby shows up for a cute little zinger while Sabrina's in the trash. And boy, I also forgot about Libby. She was Cordelia Chase before I had Cordelia Chase.
Yeah, I mean, a worse actor than Charisma Carpenter, I will say.
Well,
by a wide margin. But you know what? She was not brought on to have a particular depth. No. I think they make jokes in this very. I think this is the season where like they go into her brain. I think at one point, and like there is. I think that they very well established that there is nothing more to Libby. She is just a bitch and a mean girl, and that is it. There is nothing more to her.
Yeah. And she never has a second. She never has a second story. It is just the antagonist to Sabrina.
It's so funny. I kind of love that they don't even try. It's just like whatever. Yeah. She gets to be mean and have zingers, and that is it.
Well, back at the Spellman house, we're up at the linen closet, and Hilda and Zelda are trying to figure out why the portal is blocking Hilda. And then 2 officers arrive to conduct a field immigration test, and Hilda fails it. The police take her away.
After one on FIT, that's a field immigration test. Read this sentence aloud, please.
Fine. We went out and about again and again in our Ford Falcon.
You're next.
I've got nothing to hide. We went oot and a boot again and again in our Ford Falcon.
Arrest her.
What? Those results were completely inconclusive, eh?
We get some Canada jokes in this. Okay. Caroline Rhea is Canadian, so
yes,
that it makes sense. It is just funny that, actually, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense though, because if they're going to do a deportation story and they want to have a sort of allegory for it, for what the other world's deportation is, like, there's no way for it to not be sort of racist unless you just make it Canada. So I think that was actually a very smart choice, and they get to have fun with the actual, with where the actors are actually from. This wasn't filmed in Vancouver, was it? No, it's a multi-game sitcom. Why would they do that? Yeah, no. So Caroline Rhea is just Canadian.
And Melissa Joan Hart would have been a minor, so that would have been an added. But she's got to be in LA.
Yeah, I was just every show that I love, it tends to be filmed in Vancouver, so I was just like, maybe this one too. But yeah, no, it's a multi-game sitcom. It wouldn't make sense. So Caroline Rhea being Canadian is enough and to make it funny.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll say that the folks who are doing the police work are fine. They're character actors. It's whatever. The aunts are hilarious here. I mean, them reading this little nonsense phrase that is just a bunch of words that are pronounced differently based on if you have a Canadian accent or not. Yeah. It's a great gag.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's fun. It's silly. It doesn't take up too much time from the episode. It's just enough to be a little B plot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So back in high school, I fucking love this scene. This is so fun because this is like just again just the pace at which Sabrina's like fall into addiction is like so rapid.
I'm in the mood for pancakes. Are you holding?
Sabrina, you usually have good ideas. What sort of a fundraiser would you suggest?
Pancakes!
Are you suggesting we have a pancake breakfast to raise money?
No, I wouldn't want to have breakfast with those soft, flaky, fluffy, buttery nuts in your mouth. Do you have any?
I think it's a charming idea. A pancake breakfast it is. Sabrina, you're drooling.
Because they're like in class, Sabrina's trying to lick the maple syrup off of Harvey's fingers. Like immediately, she like asks, like, "I'm in the mood for pancakes. Are you holding?" She's like having outbursts in episodes throughout the whole thing. And this whole classroom is like, I don't know if it's actually a class or if they're like an after school thing, because nobody's being taught. It's the teacher, right. Mrs. Quick, who I love. I always forget about her because I'm always thinking about my guy Martin Mull, who's not in this episode. Yeah.
So sad, devastating.
Yeah, devastating that we're in a season 3 episode and he's not in it. Like, damn, where's our guy? But we got Mrs. Quick, and she's trying to get students to raise money for the prom. They're courting with ideas. And Sabrina, again, she's just having like outbursts in episodes, going through withdrawal basically. And is like, pancakes. And then he's just like, yeah, Sabrina, we should do a pancake fundraiser. It's
so funny.
Yeah.
She's so earnest about it. I love Mrs. Quick. I also kind of forgot about her because in my heart, it's all Martin Mull. Mm-hmm. So, but she's just so earnest around all of the kids' ideas. Like Harvey's like, "Oh, we could auction off a classic Chevy," and she's like, "Oh, you have a classic Chevy?" And Harvey goes, "I'm more of an idea guy," which is that's about right for Harvey.
Yeah.
I also missed this back in the hallway, but another student walks by Sabrina and has a styrofoam container, but it has French toast in it, and she goes, "Ugh, get away from me, Derek." Like, yeah. I get that she's addicted to pancakes. French toast is better than pancakes, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I am very much a waffle guy.
You're a waffle
number
guy,
one.
yeah.
So that immediately, so in the waffles versus pancakes thing, French toast, I do love French toast. So I think I might put it above pancakes.
Yeah.
I think that, but I wouldn't be against the argument of pancakes being better than French toast because there is something to the simplicity of pancakes that I think is very appealing. Like anyone can make a pancake.
That's true.
You know, like it's hard to mess up a pancake. I've definitely done it before, but it's like you can't, but it's hard to do it. So like
I have also messed up pancakes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just leave it, just don't pay attention and then it burns. Like that's the way you mess up a pancake, you know.
I made instant pancakes when I was still a bachelor man, and they had expired some time ago.
Oh boy.
And I was committed to eat them, though, probably as I was raised by Depression era parents. I don't know why.
Sure.
And no amount of syrup I could put on them would change the flavor of them, but I kept eating them, and I was ill.
Well,
Like,
what happened? What makes it go, like, what made it go bad? What was rancid in it? That would
I assume that there was some sort of milk product that would have not kept forever, and that is why you should. I mean, you can really flex those dates, but this was like 2 years overdue. Like it was, shouldn't have been eaten.
Yeah.
No amount of syrup, just wild.
Yeah. Sabrina should have had those pancakes. Maybe it would have helped her with her addiction.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I was really just channeling this episode. I was like,
Yeah.
I need to beat my pancake addiction. So I'm gonna have these terrible, terrible pancakes.
Absolutely. Well, we get another scene with Hilda and Zelda in the other realm. Hilda calls Zelda in distress because she's in this weird little like Canadian bar, basically is what the other realm is right now that she's been deported to.
That's true. We could almost sell the B plot as a bottle episode because it's pretty much all in this like vaguely Canadian bar where just everyone's being kind of reckless and loud and Canadian and also Scandinavian, just a little bit.
Yeah.
They're watching hockey. I don't know. It's a lot of northern stuff.
Yeah, it's just like
doing
cold. They just thought about cold places, and that was really where it's at. Which is fine. Like I don't have really any thoughts beyond what we said at the top about this B plot. It's like fine. It's like perfectly fine and funny. It's giving Zelda and Hilda something to do, and also means that they're preoccupied when Sabrina is going through all of this pancake addiction stuff, which I think is important writing wise because they're not able to intervene until things get really, really bad with her. So, I think it makes sense in a writing way.
Melissa Joan Hart said she loved this B plot because she wasn't in it. And so she got to cross out all the scenes and take a nap.
That's so funny. Good for her.
Although she does come into the bar at the end for the stinger. So
yeah, but I mean,
she must have had to come.
That's like
for
a short scene.
30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also love this scene because we cut to the kitchen where Sabrina has left school, coming back home to try to find something like pancakes.
There's gotta be something in this house that tastes like pancakes. Oh, maple cured ham. Oh. That stupid thing just tastes like ham.
Hello, Sabrina.
Oh, home from school, felt like a snack. Maybe fruit.
Oh, I've got to fill out all these forms or your Aunt Hilda will be trapped in the other realm forever. Which I know has its upside, but she is my sister after all. Honey, are you all right? Your hand is shaking.
I don't think so. Maybe your eyes are shaking.
She can't conjure them up. I don't know if we mentioned it, but like her aunt.
That's right. There's a spell.
Cast a spell, so she can't just conjure up pancakes. So she would have to actually find pancakes or make them herself, which is why she doesn't she's looking for anything that is like pancakes, which includes taking just a bite out of a full-ass maple cured ham, which is so funny. And her reaction, ew, it tastes like ham.
Yes. Because she just wants the maple flavor, but it's too hammy. Oh my God. It's great facial reaction from her. It's so good. It is so good.
Yeah. I mean, this is when she really does amp up the physical comedy. This is what I think Sabrina or what Melissa Joan Hart was referring to with it, because like she, from this point forward to like the end of the episode, she is constantly moving. Like she does not stop, because if she's standing in one place, she has to be shaking like or twitching. And she's usually constantly just like, desperately looking for something, picking something up, picking up an apple and putting maple syrup on it, trying to eat it and reacting to it and throwing it away, like responding to everyone so rapidly, like she probably got a lot of exercise out of this episode, because there is not a moment where she is just sitting still from this point forward.
Right? It's so good. I mean, Zelda comes in and says, your hands are shaking it. And Sabrina goes, your eyes are shaking. Oh my God, it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she like turns on the TV, and I love this too, because it's just, you know, it is such a parody of like, you turn on the TV and everything reminds you of the thing that you don't want to be reminded of. But because the thing that she's trying to not be reminded of is pancakes, like, there's only so many ways you can make a pancake reference in TV. So every reference is like so absurd, such a long walk to referencing pancakes. I don't remember the context, but at one point someone on the TV just says, it's Hitler or pancakes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's so funny.
I know I can just sit here, watch TV, and not think about pancakes.
Mannix, you've broken every rule in the book. You can't eat pancakes during a high-speed chase.
Rommel's dilemma came down to one agonizing choice. Hitler or pancake.
Hello, you're on Love Line.
I like pancakes!
So best I could tell, because everything was like names were changed, so none of this was real. But the first thing she turns on is like some sort of cop procedural.
Yeah.
Then the second thing is some sort of historical thing, which is like I assume like some general had to make a choice. Do I kill Hitler or eat pancakes? And he chose pancakes. And then the third one is, thank you for calling into Love Lines. And the caller goes, I love pancakes.
It's so funny. Oh my God, it's incredible. Like, they don't even go to the obvious like pancake commercial or anything is what's funny to me. They avoid anything that it possibly could be. They go to the most absurd ways to reference pancakes.
Well, in the next scene, we have transitioned to nighttime and we get some good cat acting. Salem's walking down the stairs, walks into the kitchen, and then is on the table. So we are back to puppet Salem, and he sees Sabrina whisking together some pancake batter. He surprises her. She drops the bowl and just breaks down into tears.
Oh my God.
Sabrina!
No!
You're making pancakes, aren't you? You're hooked. You're a flapjack fiend.
No, I'm not! I'm not! Yes, I am! I'm hooked! And you know, there's a big pancake breakfast tomorrow at school, and everyone's gonna know my shameful secret. You've gotta help me.
I'll help you through this, Sabrina. There's no problem you and I can't solve together. Except maybe world hunger, and war, and global warming, and maybe we can't solve this problem.
This is where he yells at her, you're hooked, you're a flapjack fiend.
It's so good. I think they even have like dramatic music playing when she drops the pancake batter and is like crying on the floor. Like, it's like her just that she is so quickly gone to just full on meltdown.
Yeah.
It's so again, it's so absurd, but it's so funny. And I like that, like, you know, Salem's like trying to support her, like, oh, we can get through this. We can do anything together. Well, except for like, you know, solve world hunger or war or global warming. So maybe we can't do this.
It's wild also because like Salem's one character trait that everyone should remember is that he tried to take over the world and was turned into a cat, and that he would then be like, together we can solve like world hunger. Like, that's not your jam usually, buddy.
Yeah. I do like a global warming reference. In the late 90s, you know?
Late 90s, yeah. That's great.
It was just thrown out and no one was accusing the show of having a woke agenda. Nice time.
No, they actually got a tax credit from Al Gore for it, I think. No, just kidding. That was a joke. Well, Salem does agree to help. He's going to make a pancake breakfast syrup for tomorrow because that's when they're all getting together for the pancake breakfast at school. Because she doesn't want to be found out. This syrup will make pancakes taste disgusting. When he doesn't help her fast enough, Sabrina goes to strangle Salem. And it is, again, just that moment of physical comedy that is really selling this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
The shaky hands while pouring liquids. I said earlier this was not a direct parody of Reefer Madness, but this happens in the film Reefer Madness when someone goes to pour alcohol. The marijuana with an H is too powerful and they can't pour a glass of whiskey or whatever.
It's so funny. So we get to the school cafeteria where, of course, it is this dreaded pancake day. Sabrina brings her special syrup in. And I fucking love this joke so much.
Hey, I saved you a seat, and I got you an extra big stack.
I'm just gonna have a bite.
Yesterday, they were all you could talk about.
Oh, so a woman should be seen and not heard? Is that it?
You okay? Is that Twitch new?
Melissa Joan Hart's delivery. Like it is like not a beat. It is like before Nate Richard has even finished talking, she's like, "Oh, so a woman should be seen and not heard. Is that it?" Like, it's so funny. It's so funny. That's my favorite. I laugh so hard. That is my favorite joke in the episode. It's so out of nowhere.
But someone has taken her special syrup, but it has been whisked away, and she cannot find it. She is now surrounded by pancakes everywhere. They're calling to her. But then, out of the blue, she hears Libby say, "Oh, this tastes awful." And she goes, "There it must be." And she rushes and she eats some of her pancakes, but it wasn't the special syrup. Libby just doesn't like blueberry pancakes. Libby, you monster. But
yeah. But also I love that she's blueberry. I don't like blueberry. It's, oh girl, never change.
Yeah, this is also where Libby hands her a pancake that has been stepped on.
Oh my God.
And this might have worked in a CRT television, but in high def on streaming, it is amazing.
It is a full on like Spencer's Gifts gag gift.
It is great.
It is so rubbery and just like the clearly painted on footprint. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. And Sabrina takes it because she's jonesing for pancakes. And we do get a good Libby moment where she goes, "Ew, squared," which is, I don't know, that's pretty good. I can go for that, Libby.
I guess so. Ew, squared. I don't know how clever that is, but
squared.
sure, whatever. I guess it's very 1997, I guess.
It's very of the time.
Yeah. But I mean, again, physical comedy, they just have Sabrina just running in fast motion.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love that everyone is just standing around doing nothing while she just eats everyone else's pancakes, and they have a little special effect where she like inhales an entire stack and then is like, I hope no one noticed that. One of my favorite things on this episode is that they have this like ridiculous, like surreal, obviously magical moment happen in the cafeteria. No one ever addresses it ever again. They don't wipe anyone's memories. People see Sabrina like go in at super speed eating pancakes and then magically inhale all of them into her body. And everyone's just like, that was weird anyway. And nothing happens. Nothing comes of it. It's so good.
And Melissa Joan Hart, mouthful of something, whether pancakes or additional prop to make a full mouth feeling, shouting as loud as she possibly can, "Pancakes," is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. She's having so much fun in this one.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that it's her favorite episode because she really just got to be silly for 22 minutes. It's great.
That takes us to the commercial break, but when we come back, we're in the kitchen and Zelda has filed a request for Hilda's immigration to be processed, but it's going to take years. Zelda resolves to take matters into her own hands. There's a ring at the doorbell and it's Sabrina at the door, but she needs help from Zelda to get through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a fat suit, bunch of fat jokes.
It's the 90s.
Yeah. Like the thing that I will say, the thing about this one, it's like it's never good, but it's not as gross, I think, as like some other ones because it's so obviously not meant to look realistic. Like it's basically like the sumo, like those like inflatable sumo suits that she's wearing.
Yeah, and she confirmed that it was a fat suit, but couldn't remember to her host whether it was a weighted fat suit or just air. So it might have just been an inflatable situation.
Yeah.
There's no facial makeup, which I think is where things start to get really disgusting in the fat suit world, is when prosthetics are added.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know that they really they don't go as hard on it as I expected to. Like when I was rewatching this, I'd totally forgotten this or blacked it out.
Yeah.
And then when she shows up, I was like, oh God. But really like
it's there and gone.
Yeah, it's there and gone. And like the jokes are really more like if she was a giant, they would be making the same jokes. Like, I can't get through the door. You're stepping on my foot. Like Salem doesn't even really make like a fat joke. He makes like a joke about how she would be good at wrestling.
Professional wrestling.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know that I would think about that as a fat joke thing. Like that's I mean, like he's thinking, like, because he doesn't even say sumo wrestling. He just says professional wrestling. So, like, they're not really mean about it. Like, I guess it's mean inherently, but they don't really go hard on it. It is just sort of like, this is their parallel for like, you know, how drugs destroy your body, I guess.
Right.
Like this is their version of that.
Well, it's a visual consequence, which we've seen the psychological consequence through the dialogue and Sabrina's actions. Mm-hmm. We now see a physical consequence, which is visually represented. Like it's it's good storytelling because it gives the stakes of the episode. We instantly take them away because in the next scene there's a doctor who looks like he's 6 years old, but because he's a witch.
I don't care for that the child doctor thing. I don't really. It feels very shoehorned in, and they really try to pack in so many jokes. Like, isn't it funny that a child is talking like he's an old man? And I'm like,
yeah,
I guess.
And making comments like, "Oh, I can't eat red meat because of my ticker," which would be something that you would expect a grandpa to say, not a 6-year-old.
Yeah, it's a little too. I mean, like, this show does stupid jokes, like, it's fine.
Oh yeah,
but it's like, I think there's enough going on that I don't really need it, and the child actor isn't really that good either. So like, it doesn't. He's not particularly cute. Sorry, kid. So it doesn't really add anything. And again, there's enough absurdity going on that like I don't need it.
Well, he brandishes a wand. Also wild to see a magic wand, but the magic wand then cures Sabrina of her overstuffedness, and she goes back to her normal size. I thought this effect looked fantastic.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I think the effects work on this show generally was pretty good because they were really good about keeping things practical and only cranking out the digital stuff when they really needed it, so then they could put enough money into making it look fine.
Yep. Yeah. So we got some behind the scenes on this one. She was filmed both in the suit and out of the suit, both in the set and then in front of a green screen. They used all of those together to composite with CG. The effect, she just stumble when the wand is pointed at her like a breeze has blown by her, and that helps sell any of the issues. And I think that's why it looks so good.
But yeah, I also do think it's funny that, like, I mean, they magic away all of the consequences of her drug use, and then is like, and now you have to quit cold turkey. And I'm like,
right,
both of those are terrible lessons. Like, both of those things are awful. Like, it works for this episode. Like, I don't care. But if you are doing this for a tax credit, it's a very, very funny that, like, both of those are terrible lessons to give to people if you're trying to take this seriously in any way.
Yep. Consequences are good. They help people make change. Change is hard. And you usually do it with assistance, not cold turkey.
Yeah. No, all you have to do to stop an addiction is just stop doing it.
Yeah. Lock yourself in your room with your sentient cat
for like an hour.
Cats are sentient.
Take a nap, and you'll be fine. And addictions beat. I don't understand why anyone ever has any problems.
God, Derek. Well, that is where we go. Zelda leaves Sabrina with Salem to go through her detox from pancakes.
It may take a few hours, it may take a few days, but there's no other way to beat this thing.
Couldn't this be one of those things we just accept?
Honey, I'll be back as soon as I can. I've got to go to the other realm to rescue Hilda. But Salem, if there's an emergency, you know where to call, right?
The money store? Yes, I have your pager number.
Oh, don't worry. I went through the same pancake detox years ago. You'll get through it. Just remember, it's times like these that build character.
I don't want character. I want pancakes.
She tries to keep herself busy. She reads, she organizes her closet, she rearranges the furniture, even cleans underneath the bed, but nothing seems to help. Time stops and actually goes backwards while she is struggling with this.
I love the clock joke. The whole sequence, it's such a funny montage because it's so real too, right? Like we've all been there. We're trying to kill time, and it's like, oh, I've spent all day doing this, and 3 minutes have passed. What the hell? But then also, I think it's also helped that Hart's acting, like, throughout all of this. Again, like I said, she never stops moving. That's true in this scene. She's in one room for an entire montage, but she's constantly anxiously twitching. She's biting her fingers. She's fidgeting. Her knees are shaking. Like, she does a really good job conveying the body shakes, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going through withdrawal, like, honestly.
Yeah, she's the whole scene sells what's going on. And then we have to kind of assume that she passes out because in the next scene she's like hallucinating and dreaming. But I do like that the scene ends with her. She's moved her bed, but she sits down on her bench and then goes to lean back, and her bed's not there because she moved it. And that, I was like, wow, so relatable. Like, I hate moving furniture because
oh my God,
I memorize it and then everything's wrong.
Yeah. The only other thing I love from this scene, and it doesn't even make sense, but it's a laugh out loud funny to me. Like, you know, Zelda is going to deal with the Hilda stuff, so she leaves Sabrina in Salem's care, and she's like, Salem, you know where to call if there's trouble, right? And he just says, the money store. It's such a non sequitur. It's so fucking, it like makes no sense. It's so funny.
But
Like that.
the delivery is so campy. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't even know why. The Monday store?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what makes it funny. That's why Salem's non sequiturs are funny, is because he always just says them in a funny way.
You know what? He's sort of, I hate to do this to you, but he's sort of like a proto Stewie Griffin.
No,
but like
I
a
think
much better
so.
version.
Yeah, look, I think, no, I do. I mean, I don't, I think that that's actually a good comparison, because I think that a lot of stuff with, like, Nick Bakay, I think, knows how to just say things in a funny way and make stuff that's not necessarily funny sound funny, because he makes his voice funny. And I think that a lot of what Seth MacFarlane does with his vocal acting too, I think that for all of his faults, you know, I do think that he is very smart about just making a character sound funny, even if they're saying something that isn't funny. And you do get that a lot with Stewie Griffin.
Well, let's hop up to the B plot real quick, because Zelda has showed up to the nondescript northern bar to sneak Hilda across the border. She holds back at first, but then a creepy bar companion says that he will help her, and they are out of there, grabbing their coats and going out into the frozen wilds.
So we get to probably one of the big highlights.
Incredible. Just incredible.
Yeah. So, like, of course, the thing that happens with every drug that you ever take, as Reefer Madness taught us, is that any drug, if you're addicted to it, you start hallucinating.
Duh.
So, of course, you're going to hallucinate. She hallucinates that she is back at school. Doesn't she like open her bedroom door or something? And
she
then
opens her bedroom door
she's in the
into
school, right?
the hallway of school, and that is not how the set is actually built. So that must have been some sort of CG thing.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was definitely an effect. You know, so she's dreaming, hallucinating, whatever. Either way, we get a musical sequence. We get a whole song and dance of everyone singing "Cakes on the Griddle."
Cook 'em up, stack 'em up 10 miles high. Pour on the syrup and my oh my. Cakes on the griddle, fill up your middle.
The answer to the riddle is cakes on the griddle.
That's right. Yes to the riddle is cakes on the griddle. That's right.
There is some very impressive dance moves being done in this sequence.
It's real. Okay. It's well choreographed. And also all the dancers are holding a plate of pancakes. You know, it's obviously
glued,
like
but
fake pancakes glued, but that's still a prop that you have to be holding and pretending like it's real as you're spinning around with this prop, you know, like it's a lot of elements that they're managing, and it's a lot of people involved in this dance sequence. The song is fun. Could you tell if it's a,
Nope.
I couldn't find that it was a parody of anything in particular.
Well, it certainly had like parody vibes, right? Like it felt very Rodgers and Hammerstein, but it was not direct lyrics from anything. I mean, like, I feel like my musical theater bench is pretty deep. So besides like just sounding like it could have been something I could recognize, which I think was even more frustrating than like sounding like an original sound, because I would have been like, oh, they just wrote this. But it doesn't like match any melodies I'm familiar with. It doesn't match any lyrics I'm familiar with. So I can't, it was an original creation, but in like a very Oklahoma vibe.
I think so. Yeah, I think they were inspired by that, you know. And it's a very short song, so like it's not as, you know, it's not unbelievable to me that they wrote this basically from scratch. But it is pretty cool that it's like we get a musical sequence in this multicam sitcom.
And hello,
that's really well done.
Hello, Mrs. Quick's pipes. She is really good at singing.
Yeah. She really
She has a very unique speaking voice. So
she does. She's done a lot of like voice acting too.
She does a fantastic job with these things. It sounds like her voice, but it doesn't in the way that like when Julie Kavner does Marge singing, you can tell that it's Marge singing. This almost felt like it was dubbed, but it's 100% not. Like it just it's a slightly different quality, but still her quality.
It's Mary Gross is her name, and she was on Saturday Night Live too for like 4 years.
Oh fuck! Yeah. Well, she's definitely sung on Saturday Night Live then. Like, wow.
I mean, it makes but yeah. So she's got, and she's one of those actors who pops up on so much stuff because she has such a distinct sound to her, but is also a comedic actor. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Mary Gross, we love you. I'm sorry that we love Martin Mull more, but it's just, you know, we all deal with the cards we're dealt.
Right.
Also, I wanted to mention that Melissa Joan Hart's sisters is one of the dancers, and she played Sabrina in the animated series.
That's the same sister that shows up in this show as a character a couple times, right? Oh my God, what is her name? She's like her cousin. Doesn't she play Amanda?
Oh
her, like,
my
shitty
God,
cousin?
she's Amanda. She is Amanda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not too long
her
from now.
evil
That's
cousin.
season 4.
I think so.
Yeah.
And she pops up a few times after that, I think.
Wow.
Too, in the WB years. Yeah.
Oh my God. I totally didn't clock that part.
What is her name? Emily Hart, right?
Yeah,
I think it's
Emily.
Emily Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sabrina wakes up from her hallucination. She's in bed, but she's still hallucinating because she sees a giant maple syrup person named Mrs. Mapleton.
Who are you? Why, I'm Mrs. Mapleton. I'm the syrup dispenser of your dreams.
What are you doing here? What do you want?
I'm here to help you, dear.
Can you get me out of this room?
Of course. We'll go someplace where you'll feel safe and happy. Take hold of my handle. Ooh, sorry if it's a little sticky.
How can I be sure I can trust you? I mean, after all, you are a giant syrup dispenser.
So, I guess that means I'm not a good person. Come on.
Incredible. Incredible. I'm trying to look up this actor because I feel like I've seen her in things.
You know, she
but I think
reminded
she
me
might-
of the pigeon lady from Home Alone 2, but it is not her.
It's not her. Yeah, she is another one of those who has like the longest IMDb
Yeah, she's
ever.
a
She just
character
pops
actor.
up in an episode. She's a character actor. She pops up in an episode of every TV show ever, basically. So she was in 25 episodes of True Blood. I have not watched True Blood, so I don't know.
Fun.
But apparently she was a recurring character in that.
Well, good for her. Get that Showtime money.
Yeah.
Possibly
Yeah.
HBO.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's fun because she is playing like caring, motherly character in this. But she's so funny because like the concept is so fucking weird. Like I love the costume is really good.
Costume's
like,
great.
I love it. And the fact that they even put like face, like makeup on her face too to blend in with it.
Yeah. I don't know what she had to wear in True Blood, but this has got to be the worst costume she's had to wear. Like this would have been a nightmare to get into. This is like Neelix on Voyager. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is full face.
And to have to maneuver in that, like she has to walk around in this giant maple syrup costume.
Oh my God. It's giving Scout from oh my God, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's not right.
Oh my God, Kill a Mockingbird.
Kill a Mockingjay. I was about to say Catcher in the Rye.
No, not Kill a Mockingjay. Kill a Mockingbird.
Kill a Mockingbird. Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a
What the
Mockingbird.
fuck just happened?
Wow.
What-
Derek and
what
I
a-
failed English in high school. Is what just
Absolute fucking mess that just was. What in the world?
Wow. But it was giving me Scout from To Kill a Mockingbird in her ham costume. It was that sort of movement that was sort of like foot.
To Kill a Mockingjay. I mean, a lot of people did get killed in the Hunger Games.
True. That's true.
So.
Listen.
Anyway, yeah, no, for sure. It's so God, it's so fun and weird. It's like, how could I trust you? You're a giant syrup dispenser. It's like, well, I guess that means I'm not a good person.
So
like,
good. It's so good.
The fucking the quips in this,
Yep.
like every response that a character has is so fucking funny in this episode.
And then she goes, I will take you to a faraway place. Just grab my handle. Ooh, watch out. It's kind of sticky because all pancake syrup dispensers are disgusting to touch.
Yeah, truly.
And they go to the International Pancake House. Important, not the International House of Pancakes. The International Pancake House. And Miss Mapleton takes Sabrina there, and she is tempted but resists.
Where are we?
We're at the International Pancake House.
Great, now that I'm trying to kick pancakes, good place to take me.
Everyone's here because they love pancakes, just like you do.
But I don't want to be hooked on pancakes. I forgot about my friends. I forgot about my family. All I could think about was getting more pancakes, eating more pancakes, the butter, the syrup. Maybe I'll just have one little step.
There's nothing wrong with liking pancakes. Why should you have to suffer and spend your whole life craving something you can't have?
But if I stay here, I'll never see my aunts or my friends again.
Friends hurt you. Friends cancel plans. Pancakes don't. And they smell delicious. Why not take just one little bite?
This is where we get my favorite line of this entire episode, which is friends hurt you, friends cancel plans, pancakes don't.
So good. Yeah, that's the drugs talking to you. I mean, you have Sabrina being like, I don't want to be hooked on pancakes. I forgot about my friends. I forgot about my family. Which my favorite part about that is that is not represented in the episode at all. They don't have her like missing, like, you know, if a more serious version of this episode, like Valerie, who's not even in this episode, would like have some recital that she's at that Sabrina misses, or like doesn't help with her homework or something like that. But no, everyone else is just doing their own thing while Sabrina's acting like a fucking crazy person. Yep. And everyone's just like, that's weird. Anyway, and like that's it. That's like the whole reaction with her family and friends. It's so funny how that's like a non-issue at all, but they still bring it up because that is just the type of thing you bring up in a very special episode.
Yeah, this did also prompt me to. I have accepted in my life that there is a restaurant called the International House of Pancakes, and so I just accepted that it existed, and so I actually said, like, are pancakes international? Wow, Derek, they are. Everyone made pancakes. There are 118 different varieties of pancakes that have been eaten and known about through history. The earliest documented was, of course, those fuckers, the Greeks, who just wrote everything down.
Yeah. You know they weren't the first ones who came up with it.
I am 100% sure. Because everyone has these.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's you know what I was saying earlier, like the simplicity of it is I think what you love about it. Like it's just you put batter in a hot skillet, and there you go. Like that. Yeah. Any culture can discover that.
They can be thick, they can be thin, like that, and then it's all up to taste. Recently, there was even a newly dubbed pancake syndrome. It's not being addicted to it like it is with Sabrina. It is specifically about an encountered allergy a group of people experienced eating cornmeal pancakes in West Asia.
Interesting.
That is from 2015, very recent.
Wow. Interesting.
Pancake syndrome. I think that was just to get published. I think they just came up with a cute name. It's just that there was contaminated cornmeal.
Wow. Yeah.
You know who else had contaminated cornmeal in 2015 and made pancakes out of it? The Last of Us.
Ooh.
See? Pancake syndrome.
So we cut away from all this amazing madness back to the deportation story.
No.
This scene is silly. Hilda and Zelda, they're trying to escape. They get stopped at the border, and they are to test that they're truly that they truly belong in the mortal realm. They're given pop culture questions before they can go. And in this case, Hilda, who is more into pop culture, obviously gets them all correct. But Zelda, who like famously doesn't like pop culture because she's very prim and proper and elitist and likes science and literature, doesn't get any of these pop culture questions. So they mistake her for being illegal and take her back to the other realm. Bar place.
Derek, these questions were 1990s as 1990s could get. Name the Hanson brothers.
I don't know if I ever could have done that.
Nope. Who got married to Barbara Streisand?
Fuck, I did know this. I literally just
listened
to Blank Check's Barbara Streisand series.
Okay.
But I'm blanking on who it was.
It doesn't count if you got that knowledge from podcast listening.
Okay.
That
Fair,
doesn't count.
Fair.
This is all free trivia.
I have not read her like biography that's like 5,000 pages long.
Couldn't do it, Derek. Could not. No. I'm sorry. I'll stop being queer if that's what the community wants, but I can't do it. And then before the Mountie, because it's like a Canadian Mountie, before you can even ask the third question, it's like the greatest basketball, and Hilda blurts out Michael Jordan. I think we would have gotten that one. Like, I feel safe about that, right?
James Brolin, that's who she's married to.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Sure. Great.
Yeah.
These were just rooted in time.
Yeah.
The Hansons in particular.
Thanos' parents.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It is funny how rooted in time they are. It's fun. But we cut back to the International Pancake House again, and this is where we get, of course, the famous meme.
Oh, wow! I truly and honestly, if you had shown me this meme and said, "David, where's this from?" I would have said Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm not stupid, but and I would have even probably guessed this episode, but I didn't. And it's there. And every time you see the meme, I would have never thought that this was people in culturally traditional dress handing pancakes to Sabrina.
I thought it was high school.
Never noticed that.
I always thought it was her.
Me too.
At the cafeteria.
Yep.
Yeah. So funny.
But it is like, and now when I see it, I can't not see the fact that there's someone in like a kimono to the left of Sabrina. Like, that's who's
so
handing
funny.
her pancakes.
But yeah, everyone's handing her pancakes. But she doesn't succumb. She doesn't eat any of these pancakes. I think that's
She
the
perseveres.
Yeah, she perseveres. It's the true mark that she is overcoming her addiction, that even in her dream hallucination, she chooses not to eat the pancakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Good refusal skills is what we would say clinically. Mm-hmm. Well done, Sabrina, or Dream Sabrina.
That's how you know in real life that you've beaten a deadly addiction of a drug is by having a dream where you don't take it. And that means that you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's right, Derek.
That's what the 12-step program teaches you, right? That's the 12 steps.
I don't even know I went to school, honestly. Like that's all I needed. Wow. So Hilda wakes Sabrina up because she's obviously having this nightmare. And then Hilda says, I think you've made it through it, but let's put some pancakes in front of you to test you. Cruel, but okay.
No. Oh, very good. So how do you feel?
Like I want pancakes. But I guess that's how I'm always gonna feel. I'll just have to take it one day at a time.
I'm so proud of you.
I should start getting my life back together. I'm off to the mall.
Not so fast. If Aunt Zelda were here, she'd give you some kind of parental lecture, but because she's still waiting for me to save her, I'll have to fill in. Sabrina, you
should listen to you guys and trust your advice.
Right. And
realize that it's easier to solve problems when I ask for help.
Exactly. And always
know that my family is there for me.
Right. Man, I am good.
Sabrina does still feel the magnetic pull of pancakes, but she is able to resist them. It's a nice moment.
I actually weirdly like this because again, if they want to treat this with any level of seriousness, which they really don't, but like it is like that's like the most true to life thing that she's like, I do feel like I want pancakes, but I guess that's always how I'm gonna feel. So I'll take it one day at a time. Like, which is like, I mean, that's better than the cold turkey advice. It's just like recognizing that that's always going to be a part of your life, and you just have to take it one step at a time.
And honestly, even though it's not serious, the acting from Melissa Joan Hart is pretty good on, I want this, but I know I shouldn't have it, and I'm going to say no to it. Like it's I will actually say, as someone who like worked with people who clinically were going through addiction, like it's a pretty realistic depiction of what that's like.
So interesting.
On the back end, not obviously in a struggle place.
Well, sure. Yeah.
And Hilda goes to do the here's what you learned speech. But she's not used to doing it because she's Hilda. She's the fun aunt. Yeah. And so Sabrina does the whole thing for her, which I think is actually way better than Hilda doing it.
Oh, for sure. I think it's really good and it's very funny. And also it's like, again, if you're a savvy TV viewer who's seen real very special episodes, that, I mean, watching TGIF itself and having seen Full House episodes that always end with, you know, with you having the lesson spelled out to you. Sabrina's like, I've watched all those shows too. I know what I know what the speech is. I'm going to give it to you myself. I get it. And it's all the most basic ass advice ever. It's like, yeah, you have to know, you know, my family is there for me and I need to remember to ask for help, which again, is funny because it honestly like runs contrary to the episode. Right. Because her aunts were just so fucking busy that like they wouldn't have been able to give her time anyway.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the ants being busy, we hear noise from upstairs. Zelda has escaped to the mortal realm. They asked how she made it, and we learned in a quick flashback that she was tossed across the border after turning off hockey and putting on Swan Lake at the bar. Nice little way to put a bow on that. Sure. Sabrina does hallucinate Mrs. Mapleton walking by and then passes out.
I love it. It's cute. It's very cute. And then we get one final tag with the credits where they basically do like what the alternate version of this episode could have been. If they didn't want to have Sabrina addicted to something, they could have, say, Salem addicted to catnip, which while pancakes were basically like either reefer madness weed or like cocaine or something like that, Salem's catnip is an allegory for alcohol. So he's like a drunk in a bar and Sabrina's like giving him a good talking to about that. Like, come on, we got to get you home. You've had enough, Salem.
You know what, Charlie? You're my only friend. You're my only friend in the whole wide world.
Salem, how many catnip Mai Tais have you had?
What's it to you?
Salem, this has gone too far.
Your litter box is a mess? You can't keep your cat food down? You owe money to pet stores all over town. You have to admit you've become powerless over catnip, that your life has become unmanageable.
You know what, Sabrina? You're my only friend in this whole wide world.
Okay, let's get you home before you start singing show tunes.
My mother was a saint. I can take anyone in this place. Come on.
Yeah, it's
fun.
it's cute. It's under credits. It's fine. Like it's
it's totally fine. And I mean, I appreciate one more just sort of like, we're hammering in. If you somehow didn't get what the joke was, you get what the joke is now with the tag.
Right. Yeah, it's and I mean the two of them are just, as you mentioned earlier, like they are a joy every time they are together.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Derek, what an episode of television. Is there anything we missed in talking about this episode, Pancake Madness from Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Not really. I love a fast-paced absurdist, surrealist, irreverent show like this. And I think we're so blessed to have this on TGIF, where good. Like the standards were so all over the place for TGIF. You get some real gems, but you get some real fucking stinkers with TGIF because of the, the sort of very young adult demographic it's going for. And I love that Sabrina was sort of like, youths and adults both love fucking stupid comedy and puns and magic making weird shit happen, and went so hard on that. And you get to have an episode like this because of that, where like you don't have to worry about it taking itself too seriously, and it can be absurd and just uproariously funny just because of how weird it is.
Yeah. I loved how fast this went as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, you talked about it earlier, like we're addicted and then we're dealing with addiction and she's got the shakes in class. Like I loved the speed in which this was taken care of and resolved. Like a lesser television episode would have dealt like thrown away the B plot and just been like, let's take some more time with Sabrina. But because of the irreverence of the show, you can go at that speed. Yeah. And it not only works, but I think it makes it funnier.
It
truly,
does,
honestly,
because part of the joke is how quickly this addiction to pancakes spirals immediately into like Act 3 of your Reefer Madness style movie.
Seriously,
like it's that makes it so funny. Yeah.
Wow, Derek, this has been a real dream. If folks want to continue this conversation, especially if you're interested in dissing on the ONDCP, I would love folks to reach out and talk to me online. You can find me on social media anywhere as DMuma. Or DMuma22 on Twitter. I also host a podcast called Are You My Mother? We'll have to cover the aunts from Sabrina the Teenage Witch eventually, which are total mother figures in Sabrina's life. And you can find that wherever you get podcasts, and it's part of the Glitterjaw Collective, so you can find it at glitterjaw.com. Derek, what about you? Where can people find you for conversations about some of Salem's best one-liners?
Heck yeah, you can find me most active on Twitter at Derek B. Gale. I'm on other platforms under either that name or Dare Bear or Mr. Dare Bear. I'm not hard to find. I have a few other podcasts I do. I have Walloping Web Snappers, where my co-host Doug and I do deep dives into every Spider-Man cartoon ever made. I have Screonk, which I also do with Doug, which is a Godzilla movie marathon where we're going through Godzilla's filmography. And I also have Lee Carvalho's Potting Challenge, which is a Simpsons video game podcast that I do with my co-host Tommy, where we're going through all of the Simpsons tie-in video games chronologically.
Derek, I should have asked you about this earlier, but does Spider-Man ever make his way into Archie Comics?
I don't know. I don't think that ever crossed over.
If he ever did, I know you and Doug would end up talking about it.
Sure.
But it just seems like he always gets around to all the different comic series that's eventually.
I don't know that ever happened. I'll have to look into that.
All right. Well, if an episode about that comes out, you'll hear about it from the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective, which Gimmicks is a part of. If you're looking for other queer media podcasts, you can check out the full roster of Glitterjaw shows at glitterjaw.com.
If you want to support this show by giving us a little tip, you can buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/gimmickspod. You can also follow this podcast at gimmickspod on Twitter and Instagram, and email us your questions, feedback, and corrections to gimmickspodcast@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe on all podcast platforms. And until next time, friends, keep being weird.
Stack 'em up 10 miles high, or on the surf and my oh my. Cakes on the griddle, fill up your middle.
The answer to the riddle is cakes on the griddle.
That's right. Yes to the riddle is cakes on the griddle. That's right.
brain. And this is heroin. This is what happens to your brain after snorting heroin. And this is what your body goes through. Wait, it's not over yet. This is what your family goes through. And your friends and your money and your job and your self-respect and your future and your life. Any questions?